Okie dokie.
There we are. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good day, everyone. Welcome to another Solution Sunday, where the soul is the solution. I'm Lisa Warner. I am the author of The Simplicity of Self-Healing, and I teach people how to take control of their own health and their own realities. And I am here with my very good friend, most of you already know her, Kathy Bradley of Kathy Bradley and the Angels. Good morning, Kathy.
Good morning, Lisa. How are you on this December day?
I'm doing great. Oh, good morning, Brenda. Brenda's on with us this morning. Woohoo! And Brenda knows Kathy and Kathy's beautiful angel card readings. Beautiful. So
yes, it was lovely.
So we are coming up on this solstice. Here we are on, today is December 19th, 2021. So coming up in 2 days, we have 12/21/21. And we just passed 12/12/21. So this is a really, really significant time for humanity. What is occurring right now, the seeds have been planted long ago, both long ago and recently long ago, meaning for thousands of years, this time on Earth has been foretold. And in recent long ago, 12/12/12 is a very significant date. It's actually the date that Kathy and I first met in person. And we were in a conference. Good morning, Shannon. We were in a conference in Sedona, Arizona for the particular purpose of opening some portals, planting some seeds for this time in particular. So 12/12/12, some really significant things were occurring on the planet. And many of the things that were started then are really coming to fruition now. So we thought we would take this time to talk about some of those things as we come into this solstice, which is really a return to nature. At this time of year in the Northern Hemisphere, we're going into the shortest day of the year, the longest night. And that night is that time of introspection when we get quiet. It's the time when we go inside. So we thought we would really talk about the return to nature and to go within today. And Kathy's has decided, that has graciously accepted my offer of doing an angel card reading for humanity. When I woke up early this morning and I tuned into what we should do today, the information was have Kathy do an angel card reading for humanity for 2022. And let's see what is in store for all of us, or what the potentials are. So we welcome you all to the show this morning. And Kathy, thank you so much for joining me. This is such an amazing topic.
Oh, yes. Thank you so much, Lisa. This is wonderful. And I'm glad you went back to when we first met in 12/12/21, 12. Yeah, right? Here we are 9 years later. And so 9 is a completion. It's a cycle. And so we're in the completion of a cycle. And so it's a perfect time with this 12/21, the solstice, of letting go of the old and allowing the new to come in. And as you mentioned, we do this through introspection, from looking within, from taking our, looking within to find our guidance and what's for our highest and best interest, rather than looking outside of ourselves to external, quote, authorities that are telling us what to do and what we can't do, should do, blah, blah, blah. No, we have to go within to our sacred heart to see what is for our highest good. And we do this with very often the elements of nature. They support us, they direct us. We can work with them, we can play with them to create the new heaven on earth, which is what we're here to do.
Exactly. Yeah. And part of that looking to nature is looking to our own human nature, the nature of who we are as souls, because our true nature is source itself. Every soul is created from source itself. So when we go inside and we connect to who we truly are, we connect to all that is. And that living life force energy that is always flowing to us and through us, that creative source.
So I have a question. I can hear an echo. Can you hear that?
I do not.
Okay.
Give us a heads up as you guys are listening. Give us a heads up, or put it in the chat if anybody hears an echo. Oh, maybe what is there? Is that gone? There. I think it was. I didn't have the volume all the way down on my Facebook thing.
Beautiful.
Sorry.
That's good. It was hard because then you'd be saying it and then I'd hear it.
There. That was it.
Thank
Problem solved. Never mind.
I'm glad I brought it up. I'm not losing it.
Yes, thank you. Oh, goodness.
Yeah, perfect. So here we are connecting with the wisdom within our divinity.
Exactly.
And our body is made up of the elements of nature, of water, of fire, of air, of earth, and love. The 5 elements that make us up. And that's why when we're out in nature, it feels so fantastic and it feels so calming and it feels so peaceful, because that's where we resonate. And we're connecting with that unification of who we truly are, right?
Exactly. I live in the middle of nature. I live outside in the Adirondack Mountains of northern New York. So I am surrounded by lakes and mountains and streams and trees and birds and all kinds of wildlife. And what I've realized about nature is that everything is alive. The trees are alive. The earth, the soil itself is living. There are, the crystals are living. The rocks are literally living and changing shape. Everything is filled with life force energy. And when we go out into nature, we are surrounded by that life force energy. And that's where we resonate. We are life force energy itself. And when we're in civilization, we're on our computers, we're in the cars, we're in society, all of the rules and regulations, and that's all part of that artificial matrix. It's the part of us that draws us away from our human nature. So I love that when we get to connect with nature, it pulls us back in to who we truly are. And when we get quiet and we go introspective, that is also connecting to who we are.
Absolutely, yes. And I'm finding more and more. I watched on Netflix The Social Dilemma, talking about how the internet, how our email, how Facebook and Twitter, yes, it's all good. However, it is a huge distraction. Yes. And it can take us from our center because we get drawn back into it. And before you know it, an hour or two may have passed and there you are doodling around. What did you really gain from that? So the first thing that they want to share is be cognizant of when you're choosing and make it a choice of when you're going to be involved with technology, whether it's your email, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, it's all wonderful, but do it in increments and make sure that you purposely spend time outside in nature every single day. Mm-hmm. One of my clients, she said to me the other day, she said, I am so glad you keep prodding me to go out in nature. She said, I've gotten where now every morning I wake up and I go for a walk. Beautiful. And she said, I feel such beauty. and the colors as the sun is rising, and the animals and the birds and the fish and she said, and then if I get cold, then I go in and I take a nice hot shower. And it was so nice to hear and remember, because we feel refreshed and rejuvenated. And the other thing that I just want to quickly talk about is Dr. Emoto. Dr. Emoto's been with me all night long.
Ah,
And kind of like you said, when you woke up, I was like, oh, Dr. Emoto. So if you're not familiar with Dr. Emoto, he was a Japanese scientist, and he worked with water and how water has vibration. And here we were, the full moon was last night, right here. And so when that happens, the moon affects water. Our body is made up of 75% water, approximately, right? So what he did is he took this experiment and he had many different jars of water, and he labeled them with different words. So one might have been love, and another would be thanks. Another would be joy, appreciation. There are all these different words. And then he also did anger, shame, resentment, guilt. The interesting part about this is he put them in the freezer, and then he examined them with a microscope, and he could see crystals formed differently based on the words that he put labeled on the jars. So right now I want to share one. So this is love and thanks. And it's from a card deck from Dr. Emoto. And so that was the word, love and thanks. Now this is the image that it produced.
wow.
Isn't that gorgeous? Yeah. So what I do is I have a water bottle and I put this on top of it. So these energies of love and thanks go into every single glass that I have. And so now when we bring this into our resonance in our body, that love and thanks, whatever we're thinking, whatever we're feeling is coming through. So realizing the energy of water and working with that.
That is such an important point that you're making, because how often do we walk around in fear or doubt or guilt or shame or worry? And every single one of those vibrations is shaping the water molecules in our bodies.
Exactly.
And then we wonder why our bodies are disfigured, why we have dis-ease in our bodies. It's literally that simple.
Right.
Like, what are the frequencies that we are tuning into? And this is why it is so important to be able to go out into nature, because you use the word beauty. Beauty is a powerful, powerful vibration. And how often do we tune into beauty? Not very often, right? As society.
Society is right. I do every single day. Yeah,
Exactly.
we do.
Yeah. But as a society, we are tuned in to fear, to guilt, to worry, to disaster, to disease. Our consciousness is being shaped by the media.
Right.
And when we look at this from the perspective of what Dr. Emoto's research said, when we're watching that news and those vibrations are coming in, that news is literally, those vibrations are shaping the water molecules in your body in real time. When we go out into nature and we relax and we breathe in and we absorb the beauty, that's what is shaping the water molecules in our body. Where you place your attention is incredibly important to you.
Absolutely, it's true. And if we realize that we are responsible for every thought, every feeling that we have, every action that we take. So when we believe and know of our sovereignty. So sovereignty means knowing that we have within ourselves everything that we need in order to choose responsibly for ourselves. So feeling that sovereignty and connecting with nature, feeling good about ourselves, connecting with that beauty, the light of the sun, right? If we're depleted of that sunshine, we can feel down and sometimes lackluster. But connecting with that light and seeing the light shining on the water and creating those beautiful diamond lights, it's really simple. And as we've talked before, it's in the simplicity of things. It's going out in nature on those walks and breathing the fresh air and seeing the birds singing to us and connecting with the clouds and what they're doing. It's really remarkable and fun. And then even if you want to go a step further, you get messages when you're out in nature. And you could even go home when you get home, kind of jot it down if you have a journal, which I highly recommend.
Notebook upon notebook.
That's exactly right. Yeah, because when we do that, we're creating an awareness for ourselves of how many messages we're really receiving.
Exactly. And when we write down those messages, it's bringing them into physical form.
Mhm.
So we're bringing our own awareness into form. We are forming our own reality. Each and every one of us is forming our own personal reality, our personal experience of this living earth.
Absolutely. That's an interesting and a very important point. So each one of us, we're so unique, and energy serves us. We are the center of our own little world. It's true.
Yeah.
And it evolves with consciousness. And what is consciousness? Consciousness is awareness. So when we are aware with every thought we think, with every feeling we have, we are like these batteries walking around, and we attract and we emit based on what we're thinking, what we're feeling. So be responsible with that and notice when you start moving out of alignment with your intention. You brought up about placing our attention on our intention. That's one of the keys. God bless you. You have a quiet one. I'm like, watch you.
Oh, some days the house shakes.
Yeah. But yeah, so it really is important to realize that each one of us has a unique one. And it's really interesting as I do these angel readings, hundreds and thousands of them at this stage. And you see people create stories. And it's all based on their belief system.
Mhm.
And we all have them, and we've all, unfortunately or fortunately, we've been programmed. And I say unfortunately because it's kind of like, did we have to do that? And then the fortunately is yes, because this brought us to this awareness, to this evolvement, right? So we're not a victim. We've learned through all of these experiences, life lessons. And so now, how do we choose to create? Moving out of that struggle, moving out of the belief system that it has to be hard.
Mhm.
No, it's really easy breezy. And when you're in that place of being in the flow, that water element's coming through again, being in the flow, that creates an ease and a grace, as opposed to we've been brought up and programmed like, unless you fight against, unless you beat everything, like those are the ones that get the honors and the awards, right?
Mhm.
And everything that we found is that it's through the simplicity and the allowing. There's no push, there's no shove. Where where the question is asked, the answer just evolves. It just comes to us. It's really simple and easy.
Exactly, because our true nature is we are creators, and we are creating with life force energy from source. And when we are that open conduit, that open channel, when we are connected consciously to source, ask and it is given. That's the law. That's actual science. But when we're not conscious, when we're not aware of our connection to the unlimited life-giving energies of source, we turn that nozzle off, and then we look out into the world and we try to fix what's going on. We try to source from the false matrix. We're trying to source our abundance from society, from some job, from some other person, from this, that, or the other thing. We're trying to get our health from pills or shots or doctors or the sick care system. All of it comes to us and through us when we are connected to source and we are in full alignment, body, mind, and soul. Health is simply all that we can experience. It's natural. It's what is. That's our true nature. But when we turn off our awareness and we start watching, oh, this is bad, we're all of a sudden now the mind is over here and the soul is always right here. But the mind can go, whoa, look at that over there. Whoa, look at this over here. And instead of looking inside to our true nature as infinite creators, we get really sidetracked. And the more sidetracked we get, the worse we feel. And the worse we feel, the worse our bodies feel. Exactly. Health is actually the simplest thing ever. It's simply bringing your awareness back to center, aligning yourself, because inside that soul is always radiant and healthy. It can be no other way. So when you bring your attention back inside and you return yourself to your true nature, health is easy. So anybody watching out there, I have Aligning with Your Radiantly Healthy Self coming up in January. Shameless plug, not about plugging me, but this is what's actually available. Health doesn't come from a pill, but health comes from bringing yourself back to your true nature. So if this resonates with you, please reach out to me.
I agree. And you are wonderful. And it's really about being in ease, right? So I'm a Reiki master, and I remember one of the first things we learned is what happens is when we have dis-ease in the body, we're out of ease, right? And so depending on what you've been thinking, what we've been feeling, what our beliefs are, it correlates. There's a cause.
Yeah.
So when we can see that, then we can unravel that, which you so beautifully do. And then you can remember who you are and to live your life in ease. And when our body does move out of alignment, that's a beautiful message to go, oh, I must be thinking out of alignment. Because when I'm in alignment with source, my body feels good. When I'm not in alignment, when some of the beliefs that I'm having are out of alignment, it's like, oh, jolly. It's actually letting me know. Like whatever I'm thinking, whatever I'm feeling, is not in alignment with source, because God, source, wants us to feel in ease and to feel good, to be happy, to be joyous. And this is one thing that's popping through right now, so I got to go with it. So I went to Florida a couple of weeks ago. I live on Long Island, New York. And so one of the things we did is we went dolphin excursions. Ooh. And it was so much fun. The dolphins love the waves of the boats. And so they were jumping and joyful, and they're coming through right now talking about the energy of joy and how exciting that was. And people, it was so cute. Didn't matter what age, anything like that. Everyone was up and clapping and joyful and excited. And I'm like, it's so much fun. And I think so often with everything that's going on out there, people have moved out of that place of joy. Yeah. So if we can do things for ourselves to be in joy. That's really important. You know, music is another beautiful thing that raises our vibrational frequency. And yeah, so that's another fun one that they wanted to share. And just the resonance and the sound of the dolphins and how happy. So yeah, do what brings you joy, what brings you a happiness. They just popped right in, so we had to share that.
Love that.
They jumped right in. It was like, wee! Beautiful.
Yeah. So as we start tuning in to, talking earlier about how we are creator beings, we have the ability to create anything we desire. But we've never really been taught about that. But we create with our focus. So let's look. We are here at the end of the year. What does 2022 look like for all of us? For each one of us, we get to choose how that year goes. And what we do with our focus is up to us. What do we want to create? How do you want your life to go? So let's start to, if you have your notebook, what are a few of the words that you would like to embody for 2022? What are those words that you want to sit on and pull into your body, just like Kathy puts the water bottle on that card, so that it's infusing the water with those frequencies and intentions. What are the frequencies and intentions that you want to bring to life this year? And let's take a look at, what's in store for humanity? Because as I woke up at 4 o'clock this morning, and I'm always receiving downloads when that happens, and I started to tune in. And I started to tune into the background frequency, what's actually happening on planet Earth right now, because there are a lot of shifts and changes happening in the background. And we are moving into heaven on earth, no matter what it looks like right now. We're looking at the destruction of the old prison walls. And we are moving into heaven on earth, into peace, into ease, into joy, into beauty. So what is going on in the background right now is that. And the new earth is being constructed. So Kathy, would you like to do an angel reading and just pull in humanity and see, as humanity, what is our greatest potentials?
I would love to do that. And I have to get one more deck because they're calling me to start with this deck that I don't have with me.
Great.
So you keep talking, I'll be right back. It's so it's interesting. It's the animal deck. And so they want me to start with that.
There you go. Perfect. Because that is part of nature. We each have animal guides that we can tune into. The animals are such incredible wisdom keepers. We don't think, as humanity, we never really are taught the animals have wisdom. We're not even taught that they have souls or intelligence at all. Look at the way animals are treated, the cattle in barns that never leave their stalls. I mean, the things that humanity does to animals in general is quite horrific when we look at it. But these animals have brilliant, brilliant wisdom. If we only listen, if we look at what is going on around us, everything in nature, the trees, the clouds, the water, the animals, the rocks and crystals, everything has life force energy. Everything has its own intelligence. Man is not the most intelligent being on the planet, believe me, at this moment. We have the ability to be that intelligence and to be able to tune in and really bring about massive, beautiful changes on this planet. So I love that Kathy is being called to use the animal cards to begin with, because the animals have amazing wisdom to share with us.
Absolutely. So I am working with the medicine cards. I love this deck, medicine cards by
Jamie Sams. I
yes,
love that. I
exactly.
love
Yes.
that too.
And so the first one that's coming through today is the wild boar.
Ooh.
Confrontation. Interesting. Leave it in January. Wild boar teaches us to confront without fear, ripping apart the denials and lies that appear,
Oh.
testing courage, finding truth. Its medicine will remain a part of every human path, marking the victories we attain. Although the warrior was accustomed to the sultry heat of the homeland, he was shaken as if he had a cold draft. The council of elders had caught him telling a lie. This punishment for this offense was banishment from the tribe. To restore his honor among the people, he would have to face the wild boar with a knife as his only weapon. If he failed, he would die, torn apart by the ravishing tusks and the fiery-eyed beast. The prospect filled him with dread. Then the spirit of the wild boar came to him in a dream. It was enraged that the young man had broken his warrior's vows by lying. It told him that he would first have to face and conquer the self-important and deceitful beast within himself if he hoped to survive the combat. The young warrior vowed to honor the truth from that moment forward. He faced the wild boar that day and killed the beast. The warrior kept the tusk of his adversary as a lifelong reminder, as always, confront the weaknesses within himself. Wow.
That's beautiful.
It really is. It's always amazing how we get just the right messages.
Exactly. And, in order to create heaven on earth, we have to be in integrity. Integrity means being in alignment with the truth. In alignment. And the ultimate truth is unconditional love, respect, honor, dignity. That is the truth of who we are. And when we stray from that, as the warrior did and was banished, it hurts everyone. So we look at the news and we see people that are acting far, far, far out of integrity and honor and respect. We see people disrespecting each other all the time. So that's the old ways. And now I love this card because it is really reminding us that it's our turn now to go inside and bring ourselves back into integrity, into our own truth, to really stop lying to ourselves that we're less than, that we're not good enough, that we're not able to, that we can't, that we shouldn't live, all of that. It's like bring ourselves back into integrity so that we can just be freely, unapologetically.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. So that was January. February, have faith. And this is the dolphin and the mermaids. Your prayers are manifesting. Remain positive and follow your guidance. Okay. Good work. You've been asking and praying for some big dreams to come true. And it's working. Just like a gardener who has planted new seeds, you must have faith that your crops will push above the surface. Keep watering your dreams by taking steps that make them flourish. This is a precious time for you and your dreams. You don't have to strain or push to make them come true. You've already accomplished the major part of manifesting by asking, connecting, and praying. Trust that heaven is helping you. Just like a best friend would if you asked for their assistance. Your job is to have faith, listen for divine guidance, and take action whenever you're guided to. Yeah, so that's beautiful. And that is so important. And as I was reading it, I remember, I don't know if anyone's seen it, the movie and the book, The Secret. And there's the part where they're showing the little boy that wanted the bicycle. He really wanted that red bicycle, right? And he wanted it, and it was taking longer than he thought it should have. So he says, well, I didn't want that stupid bicycle anyway. But when he's doing that, they're showing if you had planted a seedling as he was being excited about it, the seedling is growing. It's under the ground, but it's growing. And then it's starting to come up just before it's going to come up. And then he says, I don't want that stupid bike anyway. And the seedling never comes up. Mm. So we need to continue to have that faith, no matter if we see it tangibly in front of us or not. It's being consistent and continual in our vibration of knowing, having that faith that we are creating this beautiful, heavenly new world, this new earth.
Exactly. I teach my students a lot about hold the vision steady. Because as we have to be able to hold it steady enough for the universe to rearrange the molecules to match. By giving up on that vision, the universe is rearranging the molecules, is bringing it all in, and then all of a sudden it's like, nope, guess not. So it's hold the vision steady, hold that feeling in your heart, hold that light steady, and know that it's coming to fruition, and the universe then can bring itself to fruition in that form.
Exactly. So we're into March, and this is Mother Mary talking about God. I think that's very interesting. I'm so glad we're doing this.
Wow. Yeah.
That we were both in alignment with that. That was so funny. So we know God is source in all things. God runs throughout the rocks, the rivers, the streams, the air. I step out of the way and surrender any need for control in order to make room for God's healing, love to flow through me and this situation. You've prayed for help, and now it's time to allow heaven to assist you. God's love and wisdom have always been available to you, provided you're willing to trust His divine will. Release any unhealed components of your relationship with your Creator, to Mother Mary and the angels, in favor of developing a closer and more trusting one. This may require tremendous faith. Again, faith is running through this, especially if you can't see a solution to your present situation on the horizon, like we were just talking about. This indicates that you've been approaching the situation single-handedly, trying to anticipate and control the outcome by yourself. Anxiety comes from distrust in divine order and timing, along with the disappointment when other people don't follow your plans. Surrender your need to be the scriptwriter and relax, and you'll get better results. God has room to heal you in this situation when you allow the source to flow through you. Again, talking about faith and also holding that intention and being steady with that even when things may not be going the way you would like. Very often we've become very narrow-minded about, this is the way I want it to be, and it has to be just this way and not anything else. And this is not going to hold true and moving forward, because we need to be open, because things are dissolving. It's all in our highest good. And when we realize and trust and have that faith that it's all for the highest good, you move out of the fear as the things start dissolving and falling away. And you trust that just the right thing will come to you at just the right time for your highest good.
Exactly. I love that.
Yeah, and remembering that we're not alone. And I call it my entourage, but God, the angels, the animals, spirit guides, like they're all with us. No, we may not be able to see them, but we don't see the air we breathe. And it is there, it's vital, it is there to assist us 24/7. So why wouldn't we want to connect with that? Right?
Exactly. You know, source is all around us. It is the invisible field of life force energy itself, in which everything that exists is suspended. And that field of life force energy is what we draw through us and turn into physical form through our intentions. But when we're not focused on it, when we cut our awareness off from that life force energy, and we start tuning into the false matrix, the artificial matrix, the life depleting matrix, you know, our life becomes very depleted.
Absolutely, you're right. So now we're moving into April. And we have, what did you say?
It's a great month.
It's Lisa's birthday, right?
It is.
Yay. So you're going to really appreciate this message.
Sweet.
This is from the Voyager Tarot deck, and it's about fulfillment.
Yay.
Yes. And it's the 9 of Cups. And it looks quite joyful, doesn't it?
Yeah. Wow.
You see that?
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
All those different cups.
Yes, exactly. So let's see. Fulfillment. I mean, we know what fulfillment is: the state of emotional satisfaction and contentment. The many and full glasses that come with completion and achievement. This harvest symbolizes by wine from grapes, nectar from fruit, flowers from seeds, is the result of realizing and fulfilling your inner riches and talents, the pearls within you. The drinking glasses filled with spirits are the recognition of your work and the celebration of your harvest. You drink to your achievement. Yay! You know what I say? Cheers!
That's right.
Cheers to Lisa's birthday.
Woo!
Absolutely, yeah. So that's very exciting.
Yeah, I love that. You know, how from January, February, March, and April, we have, you know, no lie, you know, bringing ourselves back into integrity. You know, looking at the places where we've been lying to ourselves as humanity, you know, and then planting the wishes, you know, watering our desires, you know, getting clear about what it is that we want to create, and then connecting in March, connecting to source, so that that life force energy can flow through us to our creations and make them come to fruition. And then in April, we have this fulfillment. So, I mean, that's like literally step by step how creation works. And this is how quickly things can change. And, you know, this is beautiful. This takes us from solstice to equinox, you know, like past that, from through this winter season in the Northern Hemisphere. And it's a beautiful, I love that. It's beautiful step by step.
I know, it's exciting. And so now the next message is the Dragon, the Oracle deck from Diana Cooper.
Hmm.
And it is the Alpha Dragon. Oh, I know. Can you see that?
Wow.
Beautiful. So harnesses the divine masculine power of creation. And this is for May.
Interesting.
Destroy the old, visualize your dream, help to manifest a new world. Oh my.
Wow.
Okay. So these incredible galactic dragons carry Archangel Metatron's highest light. They help us to create the universe that we live in and continue to breathe the yang energy of manifestation into our world. Because they have the power of physical manifestation, they work with our thoughts when we are, or the collective mind of humanity, are ready to bring something into creation. These are enormous and powerful dragons. They only work for the highest good. They can see and build, and they can also destroy. They are entering our world now at the end of the old era and the start of the new to facilitate the destruction of that which no longer serves us, the planet, and the construction of a new world at a much higher frequency.
Ah.
So the guidance of the Alpha Dragons are bringing you a very special message. You are being called to demonstrate creative forces in your current project or experience. So ask these magnificent beings to assist you and know that their masculine energy will empower and strengthen you as you visualize what you want to build. You can also ask these dragons to support you in constructing our fifth dimensional world. As you hold the vision of the new golden age, they can take your pictures and breathe life into them. This is a card of raw power and creation. So ensure that your intentions are pure. Again, it's kind of bringing us back to that wild boar, isn't it?
Yep. Do your work in January. Start now. Really look.
Yeah, really look and be in integrity, in love, not fear, and truth. What your truth is. If any part of you is out of alignment, don't look at it with judgment, rather compassion and love, and clear it out.
Yeah. One of the, a hint for anybody is that when we're out of integrity in any way, shape, or form, it doesn't feel good in our body.
Mm-hmm.
So anywhere that is bringing up fear, doubt, guilt, worry, shame, blame, there's some distortion in there. Look in those places, turn under, look under those rocks, see what lies beneath that, because it's up to us to clear out all of those old things, because that's the old octave of creation. We're talking about moving into a whole new earth. So it's taking our existence up another octave into a higher, lighter, more refined frequency.
Beautiful. So the next message I'm getting is from the Ascended Master Lakshmi, and it's flow of abundance.
I love it.
Right? Beautiful. So let's read about flow of abundance. And so before I read it, I just want to share, we all are abundant. It's our birthright. There's nothing that we need to do to deserve abundance. And abundance is, yes, it could be money, it could be energy, it could be gifts, it could be people, relationships, but knowing when we have that channel, that clear connection, we don't pinch it off with those beliefs of I don't deserve, I'm not good enough, blame, shame, guilt that you were just discussing. That's kind of the stuff that turns it off. It's like a faucet. And if all we are is in alignment and remember our love and our beauty, and that doesn't mean that we don't have misalignments that we want to let go of. It's having the awareness of it and then allowing ourselves to move out of that old habit, that old pattern, that old structure into the new, so that we can be in that flow that is our divine birthright. So this card indicates that your prayers about finances have been heard and answered. Tap into your manifestation power by focusing on abundance instead of worrying about money. You have nothing to fear. A new flow of prosperity is supporting you and your loved ones. Additional, stop worrying about money. Worries only attract more of problems and worry. Everything's going to be okay. You have the support to make a desired life change right now. They're saying that's an important one. Kind of like what we were talking about before. If you find that you're not in the flow, it's because you have a belief system that you're not in the flow, that there's something stopping it outside of you. That's not the case. It comes from within. It comes from remembering that we are certain, capable, sovereign, happy, joyful, peaceful, loving people. And we are creators. So when we are in that place, we get to create in abundance and share in abundance. And there's a flow with that, isn't there?
Exactly. Beautiful. So our
And that was June, right?
The what?
I'm going back to say that was June.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, there are many changes in our financial system happening.
Mhm.
So there are many changes that are going to help the flow and redistribution of money so that it gets shared more equitably throughout humanity. So this is, a beautiful message for the spring, that, by the spring, we could be in the flow of abundance much more easily on this planet.
Mm-hmm. Lovely. So now I'm working with Archangel Gabriel, and Gabriel is always about messages of inspiration and hope. And it's talking about divine guidance. And again, the ideas that you are receiving are heaven sent answers to your prayers. So, as we were talking earlier, as we move our attention point from out there to our divine inner guidance. So they're asking us to notice, trust, and follow the repetitive messages and signs that are coming to you. Messages urging you to make a positive change or divine guidance. These signs from above are often how prayers are answered. If you're unsure whether a message is true, divine guidance or not, ask God to send you additional signs as confirmation. When you follow true divine guidance, your path is harmonious, enjoyable, and safe. And so, the earth is changing as well, right? She's birthing into a new era. And so as this occurs, we can have different weather patterns. And when we connect with our own divine guidance, they brought up safety, they brought up enjoyment. So, floods, winds, all these eruptions, volcanoes, all these things are occurring, and it's for the highest good. And when we're in alignment, it's kind of like we see it, but it may not affect us, right? Because we're not in that place of fear. We're in that place of love, and we see that, okay, it's clearing itself. Mother Nature needs to clear herself in some form. And so we allow it to occur. We feel secure in ourselves. We know that we're always divinely taken care of because we listen to our inner guidance. And they're saying that's very powerful to make sure that we do that on an ongoing basis.
Yeah. And as we connect back into Mother Nature and we start to develop a relationship with Mother Nature again. We have relationships with the elements, and we can speak to the elements. We can work together with the elements. And the elements don't have to go so far out of balance as they have for so long now. You know, with humanity out of balance, our relationship with nature out of balance, the weather gets a little wobbly. And as we bring ourselves back into alignment, then the weather can rebalance itself as well. So I know we're kind of coming up toward the top of the hour, so we may not have time to do the full, all the rest of the months for the
Can I
year.
do them really quickly? Just,
Sure.
yeah, just pick cards and then, yeah. So the next one is, because we want to, what month are we in? August?
Now we're in August.
Okay, so victory.
There we go. Love it.
Archangel Sandalphon, your prayers have been heard and answered. Okay, have faith. Again,
Beautiful.
okay? So
Look at
that's,
those beautiful angel wings.
aren't they
Yeah.
gorgeous?
It's a
Yeah.
beautiful reminder to remember to spread your wings. Just because we don't see the wings that we have does not mean that they are not there or that we don't have them.
Beautiful. And so would you like to complete it there, Lisa?
Keep going. Yep.
Oh, okay. I
Let's
went
do the rest. Yep.
Okay. So that was September?
That was August.
August. Okay, so I'm September now. And, oh, wow, these are so good. Alchemy.
Hey.
Yeah.
Cool.
Beautiful. So alchemy, you have the Midas touch right now, and every project you begin turns to gold.
Ah.
Wow, these are all very, very positive.
Exactly. And I think that this is very appropriate for where we are as humanity, because we are due to step into a completely new and better octave. We're jumping timelines. And that may seem like a weird topic or a weird statement to make, but for every experience that we have, we can experience it in many different octaves. If we're depressed or afraid, we'll have that experience in that octave. But if we're super happy, we'll have the experience in that octave. So the experience how we have the experience depends on where we are. And each octave is its own timeline. So this is why all things happening simultaneously means that we have the ability to experience one experience from a multitude of different aspects. And I've been going outside recently, doing taking some walks in places that I've been many, many, many times. And the last 2 times I have been outside taking walks, the place that I have gone, 2 separate places that I've each been to many, many times, each place was very, very different than it had been before, like marked changes in the landscape. So I know that I've been shifting timelines because the reality around changes when that happens. So it's kind of a little heads up. Hey, you just shifted timelines.
Beautiful. So now moving right along. So we have the buffalo.
So
and so, yeah, buffalo, you bring us the gifts of life. Hear our prayers, smoke rising like phoenix. We are reborn with the sacred words. Beautiful. I'm going to keep on a roll. If you want to talk about that while I do the...
No, go for it.
So then we're into November, right?
Yep.
Okay. So November, I'm using the tarot deck, and this is Hanged Man. So the upside down hangman symbolizes the law of reversal.
Hmm.
Kind of makes sense. As the
Ah,
crucifixion of Christ, victory and success are achieved in a manner opposite from any expected. Instead of assertive movement and forceful resistance, salvation is attained through passive surrender. Wow.
ah.
And then the last one is from the dragons. And this is December. And it's Source Dragon. Attunes you to the infinite. Be still in the silence. Magic can happen. Be in the moment. In the center of all dimensions, galaxies, and universes is an infinite point of pure stillness and love. This is the heart of Source, and from it flows the most incredible illumination. As the wishes of Source flow forth, the illumined angels, known as the seraphim, sing. I think that's such a beautiful way to end the whole year.
That is gorgeous because it really brings us full circle to what we were talking about before for today. So with this solstice, we were just talking about returning to our true nature, which is source.
Right.
And then we just looked at the entire cycle of the next year, starting from now, where we are tuning in and connecting to source. And then we were moving through January, looking at the spaces where we're out of integrity, where we are not in alignment with truth, where we have been lying to ourselves that we are less than source itself. And then watering our dreams, getting clear about what it is we want, trusting source, trusting God to recognize that this is how our dreams come to fruition. And then the fulfillment of those dreams. And then the masculine power of creation is about creating the 5D, manifesting a whole new earth for all of us. And the flow of abundance with bringing equity to all, everybody sharing in the abundance. The divine guidance is the heaven sent answers, the things that we have been looking for, and creating this equitable new earth. And then August is that victory, feeling like, phew, humanity, we're moving forward, we're seeing the fruits of our labors. September was the Midas touch, everything, the alchemy, everything we touch turns to gold. And that's really our birthright, is to be able to alchemize any of the old into new. And in October, we have the buffalo, the rebirth of the sacred. And November, the hanged man, the law of reversal. We've been living in a reverse matrix for a really, really, really long time. So reversing the reversal is, bringing things back. That passive surrender is how it's supposed to be. That is what's actually true for us, because when we get out of our way, then source gets to flow through us. And then back to December, where we have the source dragon, where we are tuned into source. What a beautiful reading for the year. Thank you.
Yes, it is. It's very exciting, isn't it?
I love how that really just took us step by step through the creation formula, and how even after things manifest in the spring, then we continue to fine tune and allow the vision to expand and get bigger and broader.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, this is very exciting. And yeah, just again, take this time to go within. A lot of us have the time available and see it as a gift instead of an imprisonment. And when we do that, then we're remembering and we're refocusing on ourselves. So it's really a beautiful gift. Wishing everyone a beautiful holiday season.
Yes, so we have the solstice coming up in 2 days. So take some time over the next few days to really go within, get clear about where are you now and where do you want 2022 to take you? Where would you rather be? What would you love to create? You know, it doesn't have to be what do you want instead of now, but what would you like to add to your life? And you simply notice, where are you out of alignment? Where are you living less than who you truly are? Where are you living less than the magnificence of you?
Absolutely, yeah. So this, in January, I have a course, New Year, New You. If you're on my newsletter, it will be, all the information will be in there. It's a 2-part course, and it's perfect time for everyone to step into their mastery.
Indeed, it is. So Kathy's got things going on in January. I've got things going on in January. So I've got a mastermind group and my my course, The Aligning with Your Radiantly Healthy Self, which is a journey inside. It helps you go inside and clarify, where have you been lying to yourself? Where have you been out of integrity with your most radiant and healthy self? So please, Kathy, how do we reach out to you?
So the best thing is, my website is Kathy Bradley and the Angels. And if you want to sign up, if you're not already on the newsletter, because that's where I put in all the information, you could do that. And I really appreciate this, Lisa. It's so beautiful to be with you and see your smiling face. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I always love having you on the show when you're here, when you and Keith are here. I love it that you guys are my go-to each month, that I have at least one of you. I love it when we're all together as well. And Kathy, thank you so much. We wish you just the most joyful new year, and your birthday is coming up as well. So many, many celebrations, and you just became a new grandma.
I
That's
did. It's
so
all
exciting.
beautiful. Yeah, it really is. Thank you very much.
So much to celebrate. Congratulations. Cheers to you.
Yeah, cheers. Thank you, everyone. We love you.
Yes, thank you all. Thank you all for joining us. We will see you again next week on Solution Sunday, where the soul is the solution. If you'd like to find more out about me, go to my website at connectingyoutoyou.com. Thank you all so much, and we'll look forward to seeing you next week. Happy solstice, Merry Christmas, Feliz Navidad, whatever you are celebrating right now, celebrate you. Thanks so much, everyone. Bye for now.
Blessings.